to One Take Podcast, episode 156. If you're joining us in the chat, no, we don't control what the Astros are doing. Sorry.
It's tough.
Brought to you by the Apollo Podcast Network, where they mostly talk about Astros baseball. We're not doing that. We're talking about theater camp, something that everyone will want to watch and hear us talk about.
This is my Astros game.
Yeah.
This is my World Series. The real championship is the friends we made at theater camp.
Oh, God.
Speaking of theater camp, we bring on our resident thespian, a man that has not been on since
it has been
Avatar.
Yeah, I think The Way of Water was the last episode I was on, and I mean, what an episode to go out on. You know what I mean? Like,
in a way, a theater camp of its own, if you will.
I mean, emphasis on camp, yes.
Yeah, and
it just feels like it's been 7 years since I've watched that movie.
I don't even remember a singular plot point of that movie. I know Sigourney Weaver plays a teenager.
There was a whale that had people's memories.
Yes, the whale spinal fluid that they were selling on the black market.
That could maybe or maybe not cure Alzheimer's. Was that the whole plot of that? Anyway, that's Derek Foltz, by the way. Yeah, he's coming on. Also for an episode without Tej. For now, Tej should be on this episode because he actually watched this movie, unlike the one where he just straight up refused to watch Avatar.
That's so fun. That's still so funny to me that he was like, "I'm not doing this episode because I will not watch this movie."
He's like the only one in the world that didn't watch it.
The only conscientious objector to Avatar 2 in the entire world. Is crazy.
Like, I have strong feelings about the Avatar franchise as seen in the movie or as seen in the episode, but like, even I sat my ass down in a theater seat and I was sat.
I watched that shit in 3D. I haven't watched a 3D movie in a decade.
Exactly. Right. I put on those real deep 3D glasses, and I was pissed the whole time. I was like, "God damn it, my eyes hurt."
For 3 hours,
$15 on this shit. It's unbelievable. He's the most pop culture participant in all of pop culture participating. And he was like, Avatar, I draw the line.
I sat next to someone at a theater and watched this movie. I was mad. I was like, why am I going to be cramped up against some rando for 3 hours and maybe 15 minutes to watch blue people fuck? And it's like, if I want to do that, I'd go to Vegas.
Yeah. By the way, it smelled crazy in that theater. The Avatar theater smelled crazy. Anyway,
you could see the fumes.
Yeah. Anyway, we're reviewing Theater Camp from Hulu.
Not Avatar 2.
Much less known movie. Let's just go ahead and knock this out. Theater Camp came out basically like a month ago, and they're just like, put it on Hulu. Whatever. PG-13, hour and 32 minutes long, which is crazy that Tej isn't actually done with this movie. But the eccentric staff of a rundown theater camp in upstate New York must band together with the beloved founder of the founder's broy son to keep the camp afloat. Directed by Molly Gordon and Nick Lieberman, writers Noah Galvin, Molly Gordon, Nick Lieberman, as well as Ben Platt, is based on a short that they made. So every Nepo baby in Hollywood, plus Noah Lieberman. So congratulations to him, is in this movie. And so it stars Ben Platt, Molly Gordon, and then Jimmy Tatro, who is just like picks really good projects for a YouTuber turned actor.
He's a YouTuber?
Yeah, he got that's where he was originally famous from.
I think I've seen him in he reminds me of like a much more like well-defined Ike Barinholtz. And so I was like, he just kind of was like, oh, it's that guy, but I didn't know he was a YouTuber.
Yeah, which I'm 100% certain he's been in a movie recently with Ike Barinholtz. So, but yeah, it's just tons of talented people in this, as well as Io Adebri, Nathan Lee Graham, Owen Teal, Patty Harrison, Amy Sedaris, with just like coming out throwing 1,000,000 miles an hour.
A blink and you'll miss it role.
Yeah, exactly. And then Caroline Aaron as well, and Noah Galvin. So,
and then a bunch of children who are delightful, by the way.
A bunch of awesome child actors. Which is something I'm sure Dex will talk about.
They got every good child actor in Hollywood in that movie.
Every single one. It's nuts. I was like, all of these kids are delightful. I love them all.
Cast them all.
So this movie didn't make any money. It made like $4 million. I'm certain on a shoestring budget. But they shot it in like 19 days in upstate New York in like a defunct camp. So congratulations to them. Fox Searchlight Pictures, so obviously like a truly independent film, as independent as it can be for a guy named Ben Platt. But yeah, so made about $4 million. Hulu obtained the rights to it, just like they've done for a few of these movies recently. Or I mean, I guess it's a Searchlight picture, so it's always going to go to Hulu. But yeah, great reviews, 7.4 IMDb, 70% or 70 Metascore, a 85% Rotten Tomatoes critics review, and an 80% audience score, which is lower than I thought it would be. To me, one of the funnier movies, I think, of the year. But Derek, we brought you on because, like me, you were in theater. Well, no. Like me, you were in theater, but I never went to theater camp.
Okay, I never did either.
You never did either. I thought certain you did. Okay.
No, so I was.
That's my bad. False information.
You're fine. I can see why you thought. But I was invited to go once when it was the summer going into my 9th grade year. Lisa Henderson invited me to go with them to theater camp.
Yeah.
But my mom was like, "No, I don't think you should go. I don't want you to be with all those, the older people." And like, I was like, "Whatever, Mom, shut up. I hate you." And then, so I never.
What a moment for Teach to walk in.
Sorry. I thought this was a completely different podcast. I thought this was my therapy. So forgive me.
Welcome to the Blink 182 I Hate My Mom podcast.
Pop punk lives forever in my heart. No, so I never got to go to theater camp. So I never got to experience that. However, I saw pretty much every archetype that was in this movie in person, just throughout my entire life of doing theater. So
right,
I can say that it is very accurate.
Well, you went to college. To give a little bit more background, you went to college for theater as well. Yeah.
Oh.
I wasted money. Because what am I teaching now? English.
Incredible. But based on those stereotypes and what we have seen growing up and all this stuff, what did you think of the movie and how it was portrayed and everything? Give it your review.
So just off top, if I were to give it like a letter review, I'd say probably a B+. I think what's keeping me from giving it an A was I think there were some things that like I just feel like they could have cut out maybe or like done without. But I mean, like we've already kind of talked about already, the most delightful children actors, the most talented child actors I've ever seen. Like if some of those kids were actually singing on those like the audition parts or whatever, incredible. They should be on Broadway right now.
Right.
But I mean, it's Ben Platt and like a bunch of theater kids writing a movie about theater kids, and so it was like I didn't think they weren't going to make it super accurate, and turns out it was. This movie was deeply triggering for me. But I really did enjoy it. Like you said, I think it was one of the funnier movies of this year. Really, really fun jokes. And like, there was something about seeing it with an audience, because I saw this movie in theaters. There's something about seeing it with an audience that made it like even funnier. Because like when I watched it last night to just kind of remind myself, like I found myself laughing, but not as hard as I did when I was like watching it in the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, B+ is my letter grade.
I just thought the like meta aspect of all the stuff of just the callbacks to, I don't know, like Sodenheim, or like the callbacks to like just name dropping playwrights and things like that is like super. It's just so accurate. It hurts.
Yes.
So I think this will be a movie that it will just get shown in like theater circle. It just really will. And
It's
I don't think that people will know, like teenagers will know that they're making fun of them.
No, they will feel so seen by this movie. It's not even funny. Whereas I watched it and I was like, "Oh, you're making fun of me. Got it. Okay." I did know that I was the butt of the joke. It's like that movie that came out like God, probably like 7 years ago at this point. It's called Don't Think Twice. It's
Oh, I saw that about the improv group.
Yes, I was like, such a niche movie about like a niche group of people that will only be shown in like that circle of people. Right. I was like, because like Don't Think Twice is only going to be watched by like people that do improv or like people that have like a background in comedy, and Theater Camp is only going to be watched by like people that have a background in theater and like know the references.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. It's like super meta of Ben Platt to make this movie.
Yeah,
and his partner Noah Galvin, who took over for him, kind of a weird circle, who took over for him in the what's the musical he got famous for?
Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, so he took over for him in Dear Evan Hansen after.
Absolutely awful movie, by the way. I haven't seen the play, but that movie, oh my God, dude.
I refuse to. I am the Tej of Dear Evan Hansen. I refuse to watch that
movie. Tej, you're gonna love the very beginning of this podcast. You're just gonna love it. Speaking of, Tej has joined us after going through Hulu. We're saying you're a lawyer and you can't afford Hulu without ads. So tough times we live in.
My Hulu does have ads. That's true. It is true. I just finished the movie. And I really enjoyed it. I also have never been to theater camp, but I've been to a lot of camp, and then I took a couple drama classes when I was in high school, so I felt like I had a sense of like, oh, okay, we're making fun of theater kids. Then it felt like it rang very true for theater kids, especially like how serious the adults were taking it and how harsh the criticism was that the adults were giving the kids. Like, you know, you need to really live in that. Like, you need to be a father. Like, you need to really live in being a father. The cry stick scene is probably my favorite. Just like the way that she like awesome. Jumps on the stage.
She's doping.
The way her co-actor like literally didn't even know what it was, and they're like apologize to him. He's like, dude, like it's totally fine. Like I don't care.
Which if you've ever, just real quick about that scene, I'm sure we'll talk about it more. If you've ever been a kid that's like wasn't super into theater, but then all of a sudden you kind of got dragged into it, like a teacher would drag you into it or something like that. And then they do like these warm-up exercises or these things. And then you just have this dude that's like a football player that's in there that's just like, what are we doing? That's exactly like that scene. Apologize. He's like, it's fine.
The way she shot the scene where he has the football, it looks like he's like doing something particularly like very heinous, and like he's just holding a football. And they're just like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? We're manifesting. It's the full moon tonight.
I thought it was also like the Troy character makes it so because you always need like somebody who's against the type so that you can kind of see how wild it is. And immediately when he goes up to the front and he like doesn't understand the in-group dynamics at all when he's doing the introduction, like he totally does not understand these people and their community and how they communicate with each other. I just think that character is so smart. When somebody called him a cishead bitch when he was out there talking, like that's just really funny. This movie is extremely funny, and it's like one of those movies that I can't wait to watch again because I want to watch everybody's facial expressions again. I want to see all the performances again. I want to hang out with the dance teacher more. Like this movie just felt it's like literally an hour and a half, super short, to the point, easy to understand, and I think anybody would have a good time with it, even if you have no like connection to theater people or what they might be like. Because I think this movie not only represents what theater kids are actually like and theater adults are actually like, but it also it's enough of a touchstone to where if you were to walk into the movie having no background in theater or have ever been around like theater nerds, you would still understand that like this is presenting the stereotype of what theater nerds are. Like it's very easy to see that stuff. And as somebody who loves musicals, I felt very like the movie makes it makes it even better to me because I love a musical. I love them. They're just you put a musical in front of me, whether it be live, like going to a stage play or in a movie, like I'm gonna have a good time This movie is very funny, very self-aware. I gave it an A. I greatly enjoyed it.
Dex, you suggested this movie. I think you two saw it in theaters, actually.
Yeah, I went and saw it in theaters. It was great. It's fun to watch a movie like this among people because the people who go to the theaters and watch this kind of movie, they're invested, like it's not going to be like the random like old couple who goes and watches every like Oscar nominated movie or whatever. Like, and it's just you and them. It's like, nah, people who care about movies like Theater Camp, they really care.
People love Molly Gordon from like two scenes of The Bear, and they're like, we gotta go.
True. Yeah. And she killed it in Booksmart, by the way.
Oh yeah,
shout out. But yeah, it's a really fun movie to watch in a crowd, and like y'all said, it's really fucking funny. The character Gigi, the costume designer, just hilarious. Everything that he said, like they're doing the auditions, and he's like, "It says here you're allergic to polyester." Why? It's just so fucking funny. The Glenn character, which I'm surprised we got this far without talking about, like, is just fucking funny. Just that random guy who everyone knows, like, oh, you're really fucking talented. Just no one gives a fuck about you. Like, and at the end of the show, like at the end of the movie, he's just up there like killing it in drag, like out of nowhere. Like I feel
incredible.
Yeah,
so good. It's like
incredible.
That shit like that is just fun, dude.
Them going, is that an adult?
That ending, the last song of the movie, I hesitate to admit, but it did make me cry.
It made me emotional, dude.
I was like, what a beautiful song about the beauty of theater. Like,
camp isn't home, but it kind of is. I think it kind of is. Like, yeah. It's funny. It's like, yeah, it makes you emotional. It's cool, and it's a breezy like hour 25.
Yeah.
Like, it wastes no time. Mm-hmm. The only knock I have on it is that some of the plot points like that are thrown in here, like they just gotta get left behind. Like, what's her name? Io, like her character. Like,
yeah,
it just kind of
nothing. They didn't give her anything to do.
Just gotta throw it away.
Io Debris a star. You give that woman whatever she wants.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, there's kind of like, you can be an agent, and she's like, okay, and that's it.
That agent kid was hilarious, by the way. That kid
was hilarious.
Look at Alan Park. I think that's the kid from Minari.
Is it really?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
That would make sense because he was awesome too.
Give me just 2 seconds.
Alan Park plays Alan Kim, and yes, he was the little boy from Minari.
Oh, yeah. That could have been real bad for Derek.
I'm glad you were right. You did your homework. Good
I was about to have to log off. This is about to be a very short appearance for Derek Foltz.
But yeah, like overall, this movie is awesome. I give it I think I'm right with Derek at like a B+, A- kind of territory. I wish they would have given her more to do. And the other, like the super talented girl who like leaves at the end, like that just felt random. Like that's
just another to shoehorn a famous Broadway actress into there as her grandmother. By the way,
yeah, I was like, this is weird. Like, what do we do this for? Like, okay, cool. But other than that, like the whole, I don't remember their characters, Rebecca Diane and Amos, I guess.
Amos,
yeah, like their whole little story was so cute to me. Like, and I feel like I have friends like that. I'm not a theater kid, but I was like always theater kid adjacent in school, and a lot of my friends as an adult are former theater kids, like Royden and Derek.
Recovering, yeah,
yeah. So like, I get
I'm 3 years clean. So
yeah, like my best friend, like she works at Playbill. She's still a theater kid. So it is what it is. But yeah, I was like, I get all of this. I love all of this. I just wish a couple of those storylines they had like sketched out just a little bit more, and it'd be like in that A tier for sure. But as is B+.
Yeah, like I said, I think they shot it in 19 days based off of a short film that they made, and like most of the lines were improvised. Is
19 days?
Yeah, according to IMDb. So
that's impressive for the performance aspect of it alone. Like it looked like, because you have to look like kids that have been practicing this for weeks and weeks, except for the finale, which obviously they did the night before and blocked it the night before. But to be able to pull that off in 19 days, that had to take an incredible amount of work by the cast. That's actually
getting impressive. Kids on board like that quickly is crazy.
That's 19 days is crazy. Those kids were really crushing it, and they are a large part of the film. Like it's not like they're playing backup duty; they are a large part of the film.
They're like most of the comedy bits too, like the one-liners and stuff as well. But I think that like it kind of goes hand in hand with like the kinetic pace of what I know theater camp to be, which I hadn't gone, which I've heard like was debauchery and like Sodom and Gomorrah, basically, from what I heard.
Genuinely, I heard just nothing but like drugs and filth.
Yeah, exactly.
On theater camp. My mother was right.
Yeah. But it was like what I understood is that they would either have to write a play. You would go to one where you would either have to write a play and perform it, or two, you would have to learn like a Shakespearean play in like a week and a half and perform it, which I don't know. It scared the hell out of me. That's part of the reason why I never did it. Like it felt like daunting. But
there's all these soliloquies in Shakespeare. That would be really hard. You have like 3 pages for this particular soliloquy. You got to learn that in a week and a half.
Yeah, it's like learn Twelfth Night, you 10-year-old.
That's not easy.
But hold on,
it's not easy at all. But I found myself really, obviously you're rooting for the characters and you're rooting for the kids, but I thought that like obviously some of the stuff is stupid. Like why are they literally trying to demolish the camp? Like while the people are at camp, they're only here for the summer. Like we could literally just wait a week and
2 days.
Demolish the camp. Like so obviously that's like they're like ramming that into the story when it's like that doesn't make sense. But obviously like they're trying to have the conversation with the Troy character who's a perfect douchey like finance bro. I love the fact that his friends that came are like they didn't actually have any money, like they're actually under investigation by the SEC. Like that's perfect writing. Those people wouldn't have any money. They're talking into their phone. Of course those people don't know anything about finance because obviously they played that perfectly. I just thought they made a lot of really smart decisions in how they wrote it.
As far as like mockumentaries go, this is one of the better ones that have been put out like in a long time. And you can go awry when you make some movies like this, but as long as they're not like office winking to the camera, like Jim stare into the camera with this sort of stuff, but they kind of truly like let it follow the thing like you were almost there. And I just kind of enjoy that style, even though it's been done 1.5 million times since 1985 or whenever they started doing Spinal Tap. But like, I don't know. I think it was really good. I think having the sort of audience characters, like even though Troy's a big dumb idiot, like he is like an audience avatar for these weirdos, like that you can almost relate to. Like if you were a normal person, quote unquote. If you were a non-theater goer,
if you were a cishet bitch,
if you didn't get some of the recipe, like so what's a gay play?
Well, I guess that's a musical.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like that's just stuff like that is really funny. So you just explaining it through the eyes of like a big dumb himbo is really really good. And then, but yeah, they didn't give Io a Debris enough to do. It's almost like she was there for like 5 days, and they were like between filming The Bear, they just like
and
let her
they
like,
asked, like they texted her like, you got some free time, and she was like, yeah, I'll pull up to like upstate New York for a little bit, like whatever.
Yeah, and so I think they needed to give her enough to do, but one of the funniest lines in the entire movie was, "It's stage combat. Grow up. Be an adult."
Well, does anyone have an answer that is not
poetry?
But like legal definition, what is it?
What is it?
I do love that characterization. She lied on her resume. It's just like
like it's so funny the scene where he's just like going on the list, like, oh, you can do this and this. Like her, I was watching it with a friend. I was like, No, she lied about all that. Like, she can't do any of that stuff. And the person I was watching with was like, "Oh, I didn't pick up on that." I was like, "No, it's clear that she lied on her resume. She just said that she can do literally everything. She can horseback ride and do mask work and do improv work and do combat training and do accents, like, and juggle. Like, obviously, she can't do all that stuff. But having her as like the outsider in the scene where like they're doing the staff hang, and she's like the outsider, and she like doesn't understand certain references, and she's just like, y'all are codependent. And he's like, no, we just depend on each other. She depends on me. I depend on her. Like, she's so outside of the group dynamic, and do a good job of using the Troy character in that way as well. When they use Io, although they didn't use it very much, I thought that was effective in the way that they juxtaposition her into like the culture, because this is like such an in-group culture. Like, dropping somebody into it, they'd be like so confused. Like, how do you these things don't even, like the nightly performance before bed where she goes in there and the line drop at the end of this nightmare is like, but she was non-union, and the kids are like scared as hell, like, oh, non-union. Like, it's such a niche thing, and so they're doing a good job of kind of orienting you on the outside of it, because most people watching the movie are going to be on the outside of that culture. And I'm also like Roy, and I'm a sucker for this style, like this easy style of mockumentary, not quite the Office style where you're winking at the camera. I think that's a lot harder to do. But this style, the Spinal Tap style, where you're just like kind of on the outside looking in, I'm just a sucker for the style. And I thought that, especially knowing they made this in 19 days, I'm way more impressed with it now than I was before I knew that. That's crazy, because this does not look like something that would be easy to crank out. Like, there's a lot of timing. It's such a quick cut movie too. Like, all the jokes are just like quick cut, and it's like you're bouncing around between scenes. And so, like, obviously, you can tell they're filming a ton of takes. They're doing a ton of improv of this stuff, and they're just cutting the best stuff. But it's like, it's a very convincing way to cut it, because it doesn't feel like they just did 50 takes and they just did the best of every take. But obviously, that's what they did. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels more coherent than that. So I really like the way that they made it. I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, I give it a B minus. Or no, sorry, B plus rather. I really enjoyed it. That may bump up over time. I think this is going to be one of the ones that like people find, especially now that it's on Hulu.
Yeah,
people kind
absolutely.
of. And if this was like a DVD or anything, now I know they don't make those anymore, but like this would get passed around to people. And I think if this was 10 years ago, like I was saying at the beginning of the review, that like this would be a movie that can kind of live on for people to poke fun at themselves and stuff. Like I'm glad that Ben Platt was willing to do, because he took so much shit for that Dear Evan Hansen movie, which
because it's so ass.
Well,
it's so bad. Oh my god!
And like this kind of reminded me that why I love like how talented he is, and like how like regardless the Nepo baby thing between him and Molly Gordon and them all making this movie or whatever, the meta-ness of that plays into that a little bit. But I think it's like, and I'm saying you can't do anything if you're a Nepo baby.
I was saying, I feel like I'm the only person in America that does not give a shit that
I don't get
a Nepo baby.
I do not care.
I feel like I care about Nepo babies in almost every industry except for Hollywood. I just legitimately don't care. Like, what's her face that wrote Bottoms is a Nepo baby, but she wrote Bottoms, and I had a great time watching Bottoms. So like, I don't care that the person got the shot.
I don't care.
Yeah, like I could care less.
What are you going to tell them not to act? Like,
no, I'm just saying it is the meta aspect of all of it is actually really interesting. But I know there's been articles written recently where it's like Variety's top 15 Nepo, and it's so many people. It's just like Jesus Christ. Anyway, but I'm just saying Ben Platt, on top of all of that, regardless, is very wildly talented. Sorry to hear my dog barking.
When he gave that little just like the "oh what a beautiful morning," like just that, I was like, God damn it, Ben Platt, like you can't help but be talented. like
yeah, and his partner, the Noah, he's awesome. He steals the show at the end of the movie, so it's just like there's just talent all over there.
Like,
wait, which one's his partner and which one's Noah? Is that the guy that goes in drag?
Yeah.
Got it.
The guy that plays
crushed it. He was incredible. I love how the age is like, I can make him a star. Like I get the meta joke now that he already is a star. Like he already is a Broadway star.
Like, I'm gonna make that kid a star.
That kid's going places. He's got it.
The kid's going places.
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
I love the introduction to him as like as he walks into the office and he's just like, I saw you coming and then I got too scared and I just like
I stayed.
I laughed out loud when he's getting oh shit. And he was just,
I also love that little montage of him like getting all the requests on the walkie-talkie
During Tech Week.
Go for Glenn. Go for
Go for Glenn.
been there.
Him rolling down that hill.
there's just an extended cut of him rolling down the hill for no reason.
I'm just like, yo, fuck it. Like I'm just down the hill.
Yeah. So no,
This
I just
movie
think
is awesome, man.
yeah, I think it's gonna be one that I think
Mhm.
for independent film sort of lives on, especially because Searchlight, Fox Searchlight is now sort of manifested that Hulu is their new thing. So you know it is what it is.
I was gonna say, Tej, you brought up Bottoms. I feel like this movie is going to have like I feel like this and Bottoms are both going to have like the same treatment when they get put on streaming of like people are gonna find this movie and be like, oh shit, this is so good. I still have not seen Bottoms and I need to
It's
bad.
big fire, brother. You're gonna really enjoy it. It's amazing.
I know, and I've heard nothing but good things, but it's one of those movies that's playing in like 2.5 theaters.
Mhm.
And like
The only showtime for Bottoms at my theater is 11 a.m. every day. Like it's nuts.
And yeah, it's like there's a part of me that wants to wait until it's on streaming, but there's also like a big part of me that's like, no, I need to see this in theaters. But especially because like none of the actresses can promote it right now.
Right.
That makes these little small movies so much weirder because you would be seeing these are the kind of movies that actually, you know, like if you have Tom Cruise that is going around doing promo for a Mission Impossible movie, there's plenty of promo for a Mission Impossible movie. Like you're gonna probably hear about that in a number of different ways. You know, versus the movies like this, Theater Camp and Bottoms, you're not just gonna hear about those unless you're a weirdo movie person like we happen to be, or like you just or you just by chance. And so you can really see at the box office, at least, that stuff is really affecting films like this. But I do agree with you, Derek, that this and Bottoms are movies that once people find them on streaming, they're going to feel a very close kinship and connection with these films and be like, oh my God, I can't, like, most people don't care about how they find these films or whether they missed it in theaters or not. We're the only weirdos that care about shit like that. But most people are just like, oh my God, there's this cool movie that's literally an hour and a half they can put on. I'm going to have a good time with it. It's wholesome. It's going to make me feel good. Like these are kind of movies that people really want to see, and they're both very well made. And you know, this movie in particular, well, I'm just a sucker for a camp movie. Like I kept getting Wet Hot American Summer vibes. Obviously, a lot less raunchy, but like you know, these kind of camp movies always do something to me. When I was a kid, I loved going away for camp. I loved going to summer camp or sports camp or wherever the hell I was going. I just loved that environment. I worked for orientation for University of Texas for like 3 years. We had a very camp vibe in terms of like how we did our summers. And I just fucking love that. Like there's just something that has always connected with me about the camp experience. So this movie it's a layup. It's a musical and it has a whole bunch of musical renditions and it's about camp like that. I am the target audience for that other than somebody who was a theater kid. So,
well,
you worked at a camp, yeah.
I was gonna say I forgot to mention this too. Like I was a camp counselor for like 3 years, and like I worked at a summer camp. I worked at a summer camp for a total of 7, but I was a camp counselor for like 3 years, and like I also fucking love summer camp movies because it's like I see the tropes, I see the like the joke, like the in jokes and stuff like that. I'm just like, yep, that's exactly how it is. I'm like I have met that child before. They are exactly as insufferable as they look. But it's it's like, again, it's like it's very obvious that I'm the target demo for this movie, but like also for like I'm the target demo in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
Well, talk about like if you're okay, so because you've been on both sides of it, like if you're like don't know anything about theater coming in and like some of these references are going over your head, like what are you seeing as a recovering theateraholic? Like what about this movie like really, why does it speak to the theater community and like what do they get right about all of it?
Well, I think they get so many things right, and I think it starts out when you see the one like 10-year-old kid holding up a picture of Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
I said, okay, this movie won me over. Of course, this child knows who Liza, knows who fucking Liza Minnelli is. Like, probably knows the
It's the joke your parents will get.
Yeah, your kids are your parents are gonna love this one.
Yeah.
But that just the random references to things to that, and then or to Fosse. Like these kids have a Fosse class.
Incredible.
I'm what? Oh my god, I think my favorite thing about this movie, because it rings so true to any sort of childhood theater experience, is acting in parts that you have no business acting in as a child.
Right.
I can't see her as a French
I
prostitute.
totally buy her as a French prostitute.
This is a great song for her because I totally buy her as a French prostitute.
Sex worker.
Sorry. He said, sorry, sex worker. I want to see The Crucible Junior. What the fuck is The Crucible?
What does that even mean?
I laughed out loud when they said
Junior. Not even because it's they had Cats too, and I'm not Cats Junior, but you have The Crucible Junior.
A play which we all had to read, by the way, in high school.
Yeah. I fucking love The Crucible. I'm one of I'm the few, the proud that love The Crucible.
I'd have to read it again. I think I would like it as an adult. You don't. But in high school, I was like, "This fucking
You're not missing anything.
You're missing art, is what you're missing." So, I mean, definitely give it a read again.
The English teacher would say this.
I mean, just the line, "I saw Goody Proctor dancing with the devil," will live on for me forever.
Oh my god! Wasn't that dude married to Marilyn Monroe?
He sure was.
That is crazy.
You know how I learned that? Blonde.
That's okay.
A movie we all watched.
Fuck Blonde. Fuck Blonde. I didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it either.
I don't think anybody did.
Nobody finished Blonde. No, I got about 30 minutes in. And I was like, you know what?
Not for me.
Nope. I've seen enough.
Good. It's a pretty. I was like, it's a pretty movie, but my god,
I was sitting there bro, this shit switches to black and white one more time, I'm out, and then it did, and I was like, okay, bye.
But yeah, just the. I think that's the funniest part, is just all these kids would you like a refill, or to hear the traumatic story about how I lost my daughter?
That moment is so fucking funny, and the guy's response is just literally a cough, and it's perfect. He literally just coughs, and it's that's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Said, "I just want to be at home." He's like, the kids are getting really into it. He's like, maybe they're getting too into it.
I also just loved. It's a night of scene work.
He just I can't believe this is their first immersive theater experience. We have a really big responsibility right now.
just the line, "It's a night of scene work." I'm like, shut the fuck up.
It just feels like when I was in theater, and just I hope to God that I wasn't this annoying, but I know I was. Where you're just in a circle in a dark room somewhere, going I mean,
I did that with my friends too, but it was different.
Yeah.
Remember
what did you say? Be a starfish? Starfish.
Royden, remember when Mr. Taylor made "Rolling Down the Street Smoking Indo" a vocal warm up?
Yeah, he did. He was 23, 24.
Young
black theater teacher he went to UT, and he was awesome. And but yeah, he did "Rolling Down the Street, Smoking Indo, Sipping on Gin and Juice, laid back, with my mind on my money and my money on my mind." And we all had to repeat it. So yeah.
And you had to just really hit those consonants hard. Yeah. It's just I just remember my 13, 14-year-old Ash just being like, "Yeah, okay.
What
the fuck is Indo?"
Yeah.
I still don't know, to be honest with you.
Well, Tej disappeared into
his
background. Yeah.
This beautiful Airbnb he's staying at.
I don't know where he went.
This lovely chateau. But yeah, What else? Oh, yeah, the adults just being like really overly critical to children.
Just being total asshole.
Just the fact that Amos hated that girl so much and was just like was trying to like bring her down a peg like any chance he get. I was like, God, I feel seen in the worst way. Like there have been so many times where it's like, should I have been that mean to that child actor? I don't know.
I also just love what's his name, Troy, doing Post Malone as his fucking audition song. I was like, that
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't Troy. It was the ugly straight kid.
oh yeah, what's his name?
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
like Nick or something like that.
Devin.
Devin, that's his name.
Kyle, Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these kids are doing fucking Sweeney Todd and Waitress, and like then he comes out and sings Post Malone, and you hear the
They're
piano
like, "Don't
player
give
in the
him-"
back. You hear the piano player or the accompanist in the back, just like, like trying to find the melody. Like
My favorite is like, don't give him feedback. Don't respond to
don't
that.
yeah
Don't internalize that.
Don't internalize that. Don't internalize that.
Oh, we have a talking wall from Teach.
Yeah, that's weird. I can't see myself, but I'm like my computer just went on the fritz, but I'm back. But I can't see myself now. So, but I'm here.
I have a talking pool from Teach.
Dear God, it's like fucking Barbarian all over again. I'm hearing.
Oh no!
It's coming from the floorboards.
Oh my God! There's a hole in the ground. Why is there a bed here?
Why is that bottle's nipple so hairy?
Oh,
That was
Barbarian
so
is so
disgusting.
Oh, dude,
I need to watch that movie again.
I don't.
I can't wait to watch this movie again. I feel like there's so many little jokes and little facial expressions when the dance instructor guy asks Ayo's character like, so like, what are you doing at camp? And she's like, what are we all doing at camp? And he's like, no, but like, what are you doing at camp? And the way he looks at her is so funny. It's so perfect.
So one of the complaints that I have. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. It's such a throwaway thing, but like,
Yeah.
I just think it's funny as fuck that her full first name is Rebecca Diane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like what a stupid fucking name. Just it made me laugh every time. Just Amos and Rebecca Diane.
Amos
He
and
called
Rebecca
at one
Diane.
point he called her Rebs Die. He's like, "Where's Rebs Die?" And I was like, "That had to be improv. That's so disgusting.
Rebs
That's
Die.
awful."
Yeah, so fucking gross.
I do love how with that too, on top of all of her characterizations, it's like she's a self-proclaimed like medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy, it's your mother.
It's
Your mother. I'm so good to hear your voice.
Oh my God, Mom.
Especially Rebecca Diane. Okay, what did you need her to? What did you need to say to her?
But it's I took points off because it's like they needed a little bit of an emotional weight to carry the movie. So like it felt like everybody got equal screen time, but they wanted to make it about Rebecca Diane and Amos.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had them have the emotional center of the movie, but at the very end of it, where it's like, I got a job, I was like, I didn't give a fuck. Like I was just kind of like, all right, cool. Like, I don't know.
Well, it was because it was played so weird. It was one of those plot points that feels like it got dropped at the beginning, but then like they remembered it halfway through filming, and they're like, "Oh, we have to add this in there somewhere."
Yeah, we need something to carry the rest of this movie. Otherwise, it's just like,
right. It's like you saw Rebecca Diane like kind of like go off like on her own in a couple places, but then like all of a sudden it's like I got a job on a cruise ship. Oh, also like the fact that he's mad that he got a job with a non-narrative piece on a cruise ship, like.
Yeah.
See, the problem with that to me is that like they did too good a job of making them both the asshole. So like I was just like, y'all are just both assholes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yeah, cool, you got a job or whatever. He doesn't listen to you, but also you like ditched these kids and like made up this song on the spot. Or you were paid to be here and you just didn't do your job. Like, so sorry, like you're an asshole.
No, man.
Another like it was one of the little like cards at the end of the movie talking about like what everyone's doing at this point.
Yeah.
Amos's class check off for children of divorce.
Yeah, and she like burned down the cruise ship, and yeah,
during a seance.
The random
Also-
Airbnb guy saving the camp
because he worked on Wall Street and had a cocaine problem. The place spoke to him.
I was
Also-
cracking up. I was cracking up when they did like the Studio 50 or what is it? Studio
54.
Studio 54 thing, and it's just a bunch of kids dragging a boa of cocaine
through a nose.
through a nose, and all the parents, like the cutaways to the parents, are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Which has reminded me of doing a play that is like abstract or whatever, and your parents having to come sit through it and be like, "What
the fuck is going on?"
That was great."
Yeah, afterwards you're like, what'd you think? And they're like, it was good. You were really good.
You were really great.
You were really good.
Yeah, you were really good. That play was some absolute bullshit, but you were great.
Y'all didn't even have props or anything. You were just using movement, and I don't know what that means. I live in a town of 5,000 people. There's no way that you are going to be able to understand what.
Yeah, I was like, my mom can't even spell the word Karagas, but she knew that I did a good job, and that's all that mattered.
Incredible.
Every song in Jones Still kind of ruled. Not gonna lie to you.
Absolutely.
Like the Women Can't Read song. I was dying, dude.
Jifka got shot.
Jifka got shot.
Jifka.
The Wall Street noise, like the tap dancing. I was like, there's no way they made that work. Holy shit. Like that's awesome.
I love when the straight kid, the straight quarterback kid comes out. He has two gay dads, and they're just like, "We knew it all along." That's so funny.
Theater camp helped me realize I was a heterosexual. And they're like, "We knew
the whole time."
Oh my god,
We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
I cracked up as somebody that played sports and did theater when they're throwing the football around, like you said, Tej, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
They said no one at theater camp can play football, and I just want to show them. I just want to prove them wrong.
Oh my god.
I will say, especially in that scene, the most random needle drop of "Call Me by Your Name" that I've
It went so hard.
It worked very well.
It went so hard. I was like, yo, this song is fucking good. I forgot how much I love this shit.
I was just like, when I remember in the theater, just like, what a random fucking choice. But I was like, I mean, I'm here for it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about this hour and 25-minute movie. Like, we probably spoiled all the jokes that are in it.
No, we haven't. Watch the movie.
Anyone who's made it 48 minutes into a theater camp podcast has definitely already seen theater camp.
You know what? That's also fair. True. Yeah, because this is, I mean, but like we said, there's more access to this now than I think that there ever was going to be. I think studios are more okay with like I'm glad this went to theaters because obviously they want to make money, but I think they're more okay with just like Rye Lane was something that never even went to theaters. They kind of purchased it out of, I don't know, like Telluride or something, I believe. Sundance, I think, actually. And they're just like, they slapped it on Hulu, and now more people have seen that movie than I think ever were going to. So they're like okay with doing this now. But, you know, I don't know. I still enjoy, like we were talking about, the organicness of something growing.
Yeah,
but
I feel like if I was still in college, this is one of those movies that I would show all my college friends and be like, y'all gotta watch this.
This is going to be on in the background of every cast party for the next 15 years.
Oh, yes. It's going to live forever in that regard, 100%.
Like, they're going to be eating Doritos and finger sandwiches while theater camp is playing very quietly on the background somewhere. And two theater kids are trying desperately not to kiss right now.
So hard.
And then at the end, they're all just going to be belting out "Camp Isn't Home," but I think it kind of is.
It'll be some version of Defying Gravity.
Oh, yeah, the kid that's auditioning with Defying Gravity said,
Right.
"You were not about to ruin my best note."
Oh, yeah. Anything else from this movie that y'all want to talk about?
Other than when she hits the one of the kids when they're doing the auditions hits like a very, very, very long note, and the piano guy is just trying to figure out when he comes back in, like with his part after the note. He's just like he's just sitting there. It's just perfect. But it's in the background, like you might not notice him, but like I noticed him. I noticed he was just like sitting there hovering over the piano, like when am I going to play my note? Like after you're done with your note, I'm going to play the next note of the song. But it's just a whole bunch of little stuff like that. It's one of those things that you probably, if you're watching with your, I happen to watch this like without my phone, and I notice all the background stuff. So if you're going to watch this, it's only an hour and a half. Try not to be on your phone that much because there's so much of the subtle stuff that's happening in the background that it'll make every joke funnier if you just are actually looking at the screen. So I gave it my real attention, and I thought I was rewarded for that. So
well, shockingly, it actually took Teach 3 hours to watch this. It was longer.
Yeah, when the ads came up, I had to make other arrangements. But yeah, I had a good time with this one.
I was gonna say Dex, but that's not who I wanted. Derek, the other D name. Derek, what
same person.
Absolutely. No. What exactly are you watching currently? What have you seen maybe in theaters, or what are you watching on the streaming services?
I have not been to the movie theaters in so long.
It's kind of a dry period right now.
We're in a spell right now, and thanks strike. Everything's getting pushed back, to next year.
We were supposed to have challengers this week, by the way.
Yep, that's supposed to be this week.
Yeah, R.I.P. to that.
What is that?
That's a
Zendaya movie.
Zendaya movie.
The threesome movie with tennis.
With her two twinks.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. God, that was supposed to be this week.
Zendaya and her two twinks.
Zendaya and her two twinks. That's how I know that movie.
That's amazing.
Look at those boys and tell me. I'm like, those little fucking twinks. They're not even there to like be romantically involved with Zendaya. They're standing here. They're like, yes, Zendaya.
Yeah, come on. Yes, Queen Zendaya.
And she's trying to fuck, and they're like, yes, you better work. You better seduce me, Zendaya. You better throw that ass in a circle, Zendaya. Yes. Anyway.
Meanwhile, Tom Holland's like, fuck.
Tom Holland, her other twink, her third twink. In terms of like what I'm watching, I just finished up What We Do in the Shadows, the like 5th or 6th season of that show that just came out. Incredible, one of the funniest shows on TV right now.
This is how we speak in Tucson, Arizona.
I don't give a fuck. His name's Mike. I could quote that show all day long. Don't make me sing. Then movie wise, I watched the One Piece live action show on Netflix. I thought it was really good. And then in terms of like an older show, I'm going back and I'm watching Legion for the first time on Hulu.
Hard to get into, but like once I actually like got into it, I was like, oh, this is some weird shit. This was made for me. Like once I realized that it was specifically made in a lab for me, as a person who's like just recently got like back into X-Men and stuff like that, I was like, oh no, this is great. This is really good. It's a really trippy show. I watched like 5 or 6 episodes of it, and I was like, I am lost.
Oh, I was deeply, deeply confused. It also didn't help that like I would get on my phone every now and then.
Right.
And then I would like look up and I'm like, why is Aubrey Plaza dead? But yeah, that's really it so far. Like, I'm trying to think of like anything super interesting that I've seen recently.
It doesn't have to be. I've been just reading a book.
Oh, fucking nerd.
I know.
Is that what this podcast is now?
Yeah, it's a book club.
Oh, great. let me pull something off my shelf real quick.
You seem to have plenty.
Haven't read any of these. These are for fucking show.
The embargo has been lifted for the creator, and I'm seeing some really good feedback. The Gareth Edwards might be him.
I am
might be him,
hyped
guys.
for that movie.
I'm
low
so
key.
excited for that movie.
That
forgot
trailer
that was
really,
coming out.
that trailer kicks ass. John David Washington is awesome, and Rogue One is just it gets better every time I watch it. Like Gareth Edwards really got some stuff going. I'm excited to see the creator.
Gareth
John
Edwards
David Washington. Talk about a nepo baby. I don't care as a nepo baby.
Not at all.
Wait, who is John David? No, I'm kidding.
George
Related to
Washington.
Oh, damn it.
What am I? I'm trying to just think about what I've been watching. I've been watching Winning Time. Unfortunately, it was canceled.
After they ended with the Celtics
winning, which sucks. But Winning Time,
people are very mad about that.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. But the showmakers and the filmmakers have basically been begging people to watch all season. So I obviously knew that that must mean people are not watching this show. But it's very well liked by the people who are watching it, obviously. But Winning Time got canceled. But I'm watching Winning Time. That's really all I've been watching. Obviously, a ton of football. And I've been catching up on film slowly. I finally watched Elemental. Finally got around to watching that movie that made all that money just because it was in theaters for 3 months.
Kept it in theaters.
But it's perfectly fine.
It made some money. All that money is like
it's like perfect. It's like perfectly fine, perfectly milquetoast interracial dating movie. That is cute. That I was into it. So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Elemental was Pixar's Sound of Freedom. Like that movie is still in theaters for some reason. Like
they don't want you to see this movie.
They don't want you to see the Firewater movie.
Have y'all heard about the actual marketing tactic they've used that all the studios now are going to try to get onto? So when you watch the movie, at the end of the movie, there's like a little message that says like basically like this is a really important movie. Yeah. Share this. Like you they put like a QR code on the screen. And you scan it and you buy tickets for friends, and then you send the friends the tickets. You buy them right there in the movie theater. You say, okay, I'm going to buy 3 tickets to this. Then you press the button, send it to your friends, and your friends already have tickets to the movie. And if they don't go, we've already sold the tickets to the movie. So less people have been seeing this film than we might think. But that kind of like small little marketing strategy, obviously it's not going to work for every kind of movie, but you're definitely going to start seeing that at the end of some of these small movies for sure.
If a friend sends me a ticket to Sound of Freedom, I'm blocking their number.
Same. But if a friend sends me a ticket to some other movie that's supposedly awesome, that maybe needs maybe I would have already heard about it, but if somebody loves me enough to surprise me and send me a movie that I've actually never heard of and they just get the ticket, I'm 100% going to the movie. As long as it's not about Q, like the Sound of Freedom. I don't want to watch right-wing propaganda, but if it's not right-wing propaganda, I'm going to go see the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to watch anti-vaxxer Jesus pretend to save children for 2 hours. Like,
also, let me tell you something about me. I am not scanning a QR code on the movie theater screen. I am not doing that. I don't care what it does.
Let's get that QR code.
He says
because people are so moved by the topic of the movie because it's about child trafficking, obviously. So people are so moved, and it's like an immediate call to action, and it's been wildly effective while those people are in the movie theater crying to get people to scan and buy more tickets. It's wildly effective.
It's a total not scam, but like it is like a I don't know, like a
game in the numbers,
game in the system, because
100%.
Because then people will take TikTok and go into the theater and be like, "Hey, nobody's here, but it's all sold out." And it's like,
exactly. Well, they don't want you to go see Sound of Freedom. No,
because they don't want you to see it.
Who's they? AMC? They don't care.
The they-thems don't want you to see
it. The Alphabet Mafia don't want you to go to Sound of Freedom.
Yeah,
I'm not scanning a QR code on the movie theater screen. I didn't scan it in that Super Bowl commercial. I'm not doing it. It's not happening.
How many times do you think Mike Gundy has seen The Sound of Freedom? Like 11 or 12? I guarantee you he bought at least 50 of those tickets. All the Stillwater tickets. I bet you they did gangbusters at Stillwater.
He took the team, brother.
He definitely took the team.
They don't have film sessions. They watch Sound of Freedom.
They obviously haven't been watching film for football, obviously. So they've just been watching The Sound of Freedom on repeat, and that's why they're getting bludgeoned by teams that we've never heard of before.
South Alabama A&M beating the shit out of those boys.
South Alabama
beating them in Stillwater, left town. They got paid to go to Stillwater, beat the shit out of Oklahoma State, leave their crumbled program in pieces.
But goddamn, do we have this fake movie about child trafficking? Holy shit! People are going to be real mad listening to this. That story is made up, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. All of that movie. It's a good message. relatively stop child trafficking, but all of the stuff based on that movie is made up. So like,
the guy that founded that quote unquote nonprofit is a piece of shit. Like half the people that are involved with this movie have been arrested for like child sex charges, like
kidnapping,
like heinous shit, like
Insane.
Ezra Miller level shit. And like,
and it happens every fucking time they do this. Like,
Ezra Miller, remember him? I haven't heard that name in ages.
I don't
heard that name in 84 years.
I haven't heard the name Ezra Miller in ages. Thank God that movie is out of my life now, and I never have to think about it again. Thank God.
Bad.
Oh man,
I never saw it.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I got.
Man, it was heinous. It sucked.
The third act of that film is legitimately some of the worst decision making in a film I've ever seen. Ever. It took me about 20 minutes to realize I was in the third act because I didn't know what was. I was like, wait, this is the last act of this movie? Is that fucking Dean Cain? Is that the fucking 1940 Superman? Well, how did we get here?
Dean Cain?
Dean Cain
I forgot his name, not Dean Cain.
You did the John Mulaney bit.
that fucking Dean Cain. This is stupid. I was like, Dean Cain's in that movie?
It was Christopher Reeve.
It was Christopher. No,
Christopher Reeve and Nicolas Cage.
What is that?
Cage.
What is that Nicki Minaj lyric where she talks about Christopher Reeves?
No.
Oh, I forgot. No, there is one. There is one.
There is,
one.
and it's so fucking funny. It's like early Nicki Minaj. Hold on, I have to look it
The
up.
things we used to let rappers get away with. You listen. Insanity.
Oh my God. No. Dex, are you watching anything now that you got your AMC A-list back?
I haven't watched anything yet. I've mostly been watching sports, honestly. And all of my teams are very disappointing and sad. I know no happiness at this point in time. And I probably never will. But
what's the lyric?
I'm so sorry. It's 700 on the horses when we fixing to leave, but I don't fuck with horses since Christopher Reeve.
Oh man.
No.
Nikki.
I would like to say that Nicki Minaj knows better, but she clearly doesn't.
How many Nicki Minaj fans at the time that she rapped that knew who Christopher Reeve was to understand the punchline? Because it had to be diminishing returns. It could not have been a large amount. That's insane, bro.
But the barbs were probably like, "Yes, we stand Christopher.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
Yeah, we don't fuck with horses either.
We don't fuck with horses either.
They said, fuck
I've never liked horses. Never once.
That's the most creative way she could come up with to diss Meg Thee Stallion. She said, "No, I'm gonna dig deep in the bag. I'm getting out the Christopher Reeve punchlines that I never thought I would dig into this bag, but it's time for them now," and literally put it on a song.
So
That's insane.
She's like, I've had this Christopher Reeve bar in my back pocket.
I've been waiting.
I've been waiting.
Finally, it is time.
She said, "Unlock the case. It's time."
To freedom.
She looked over to Safari and said, "All right,
Safari.
I know that I told you that we would never do this. Unfortunately, I'm going to need access to the Christopher Reeve folder of punchlines and materials. I think I got it."
He said, "Nikki,
the
this file's
creators of the Flash
encrypted."
said the exact same thing. They said, "Open the Christopher Reeves file."
Oh my God.
It's a triple firewall, Nikki. I don't care. Take it down.
Only thing we have here are 7 fire emojis on the end of the beginning of this folder. Like, I don't think we're supposed to open this folder. It is encrypted 3 times. I don't think we're supposed to go in there. Nikki's like, "Open the folder."
So yeah, Dex is exactly what they said at the end of that Flash movie too. They're just like, "Fuck it, put him in there."
Bring me Christopher Reeves. He died several years ago. I don't care.
CGI his rotting corpse on the screen. I want to see it now.
Just to spoil that movie for you, Derek, they deep faked or brought back.
Oh yeah, I know.
Ed. Okay,
Friend, you thought I wasn't going to look up the end of that movie because I was not about. It was I think divine intervention. I think God let me get sick when that movie came out because it was like I got like deathly ill over the summer. and it was like right around the time The Flash was coming out, and I think that was God telling me, you don't need to watch that shit.
You don't need to watch The Flash.
That happened to me with Black Adam, and I went to the theater to see it after I got like kind of healthy, and the whole time I was coughing, and I was like, "Why am I in this theater? This movie fucking stinks. I can't believe I left my house."
Meanwhile,
Black Adam's so bad, The Rock is back in WWE.
in wrestling.
It's like when the theaters opened back up during COVID, and I risked COVID to go see New Mutants.
Man.
I said I put my life on the line for this
New
movie,
Mutants.
for New Mutants, and I was burned.
Old girl from Game of Thrones hasn't been seen since.
A movie that they not that movie's fault. They recut that movie 18 million times.
I was gonna say I think that movie was supposed to come out in 2007. Like,
yeah. Didn't you see it, Dex?
I did. I saw it in theaters with all 17 people who braved COVID for that. But
where they spaced us out 9 seats apart from each other.
I get Taylor-Joy, the only one to make it out. No one else from that movie has been seen.
Oh well, the other dude's in what do you call
Stranger
it?
Things.
He's still in Stranger Things 18 years later.
Oh yeah,
he barely has a part at this point though.
Yeah,
he's
30-year-old playing a 17-year-old.
Nancy's like meth head looking boyfriend. Like,
right. No, so I don't have anything. Like I've been reading a book. I am gonna watch How to Blow Up a Pipeline on Hulu.
I'm gonna watch that too.
To get my leftist manifesto out there. You know what I mean? But
hell yeah, brother.
Okay, King.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of Sound of Freedom, actually. I'm
like, so it's a movie
about
trafficking children.
No, that's the Idris Elba movie that he made for Netflix.
How to Traffic a Child.
Yeah.
the less known prequel to How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh. Cut this.
Yeah. Let's cut this live recording right now. If the Alan Park thing didn't almost get me canceled, that definitely will.
No, so I'm just gonna watch that eventually. I think that was another 2023 movie that came out on Hulu. They're gonna start dropping those left and right because again, content has dried up. Caitlin was watching a show called The Ultimatum the other day, which is, if you don't know,
great television.
It's Shit or Get Off the Pot, the show on Netflix.
Yeah.
About proposing, and all the conversations. Yeah, all the conversations are like this. Let me just demonstrate for you really quick. I would like to get married before we have kids. Well, I'm just not in a place in my life where I maybe want to get married. Why can't you understand that? But I want to get married. But I don't want to get married. And scene.
The first season was really wild because everybody was like 22, 23 years old. And it was like, wait, you're making an ultimatum because you've been dating this guy for a year and a half and you're 23 years old and you want to get married like right now? Yeah, I'm sure this is going to go perfectly.
Right. That's what it's probably supposed to be based. But now they got these people on there that are like, we've been dating since high school and he hasn't proposed to me. And it's just like,
we're now 42.
The dude's too chicken shit to say I just want to fuck other people. And it's just like, I don't know. Anyway.
I will say, watching and listening to that, I was reminded, Royden, this is why you won Best Actor at One Act Play.
Many people have said.
I said, what a fucking talent that I'm in the room with right now.
Look at me now, brother. Didn't even have to use a cry stick.
You didn't even have to call for line.
No, not once.
Wow.
I just skipped it.
First it's the cry stick, and next is your understudies on 8 days a week.
All right, Derek. Any podcasts? Anything that they can find you? Any places?
I'm super inactive on Twitter at the moment.
Good. It's bad.
It's bad. It's so bad. I will say it has not been officially announced yet. Stir the Plot has come to an end. Yeah. The timing of everything, we just like honestly couldn't get together. It's not like what if this is how you found out that we just all hated each other now? I'm like revealing on this podcast there's a deep animosity.
Everybody had beef.
Yeah. No, we just honestly don't have the time to keep it up. And we'd rather just like, it's like I think this is a good place to end it instead of just like trying to keep coming back and like do it again and again. So if you're looking for a fifth host or a fourth host, I want to go back to that again. Yeah. Yeah, if you live in the Houston area and you want to come see me do improv, I am pretty much at Comedy Sports Houston every weekend doing improv. Not every weekend, but like I post on Instagram and stuff my show schedule. And then that's pretty much it so far. Yeah. No real social media I want you to follow. Leave me alone.
Okay. So Houston sports.
Comedy sports.
Houston comedy sports.
Yeah.
Houston
I'm not playing
Astros.
Yeah.
Sports.
Well, we are in the middle of Minute Maid and Shell. So it's like we're like smack dab in the middle. So
oh shit. I'm over there like every week.
I was gonna say I see you there all the time. Do you ever pass by that? It's like a white metal building that has like a mural of butterflies on it or whatever. It's got like some other it's like that's where we are.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Houston comedy sports. Go check Derek out if you're in the greater Houston area. You can find us at Roy Ogletree, at Lord Dexon, at less than humble Teej, less_humble Teej, who says really weird things about like NFL football that he doesn't watch, like the Texans are getting slutted out, and you're just like, can we just say they're losing, fam? Like, can we just say that?
That's not an accurate description of what was happening in some of those places, but I do know the Texans were very hurt. Like literally had a whole bunch of injuries. And I do hate that Anthony Richardson got hurt in that game because I was enjoying watching what he was doing.
I mean, saying like the Cardinals are getting gaped is like, can we stop?
I mean,
when
they had a 20-0 halftime lead. I mean, you see what happened to them.
When I get on Twitter every now and then I see Tej tweet something like the Falcons are getting their booty ate expeditiously, it's like it's like maybe I do need to log off today.
Not a great time to be online, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or it's not even about. Or it's not even about football at that point. It's like it's a conversation that's been going on for 2 hours prior. And I log on, I just see she had toes in her mouth with foot fungus. And I was like, like on Maine, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Where did this come from? Where did this originate?
Stomach hurts.
Those are the best days on Twitter where you hop on and everyone's talking about the same fucking thing.
It's like you found
no one's saying all the
Twitter,
words. It's like, yeah, you just have to like be a detective and figure out like what the fuck everyone's talking about. Like that one.
I truly like. I have to Sherlock Holmes that shit. I'm like, what are they like? I'm like, I've got the red
people
thread
are
on my
saying
wall.
Words like fajita cheese wife. You have to figure out what that means.
Fajita cheese girl. It's like, and then it all leads back to someone posting their nudes on Twitter with a big fat fupa, and you're just like, what the fuck?
How did this happen? Where am I?
It's like, why are you saying that woman's pubic mound looks like a sourdough loaf? I don't understand what you mean.
Shit. And why is everyone talking about this? Don't you have jobs? Like,
it is 3:00 Central Time.
Don't you have a defendant right now?
Yeah,
he's literally in court.
he's in court. The Broncos are getting a trade.
Giving up the Broncosy.
Oh shit.
Holy shit, man.
Tweeting out, I wonder if that one other part of Elastigirl stretches as far as she does. Just like, stop this. Find religion. Find any god at this point.
The hard-hitting questions, man.
On a Sunday afternoon, man. People aren't even out of church. You live in the West Coast too. That's a fucked up thing too. You're just like waking up being like,
Hillsong has just started their third service. Voo Church hasn't even started yet.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. You can find us at a One Take Podcast. I guess you can find Tej on like Blue Sky or whatever. Whenever
you're not gonna want to find me after the segment that we just did. People are gonna be like, "Fuck no, I'm not gonna find that." No, thank you.
Oh man, give Tej's original account back.
Please.
Before
Yeah,
Twitter
fuck
dies.
Chester Cheetah.
Facts. Turn that shit up. Facts.
You can find us at a One Take Podcast. You can find us all on every platform with that except for like Threads and Blue Sky or whatever, because I'm not doing it. Whatever. Once Twitter dies, we die probably. But yeah, go watch us on that. Go follow Apollo H.
A suicide pact with Twitter.
Yeah.
Going down with the ship like the Titanic.
Yeah, the moment you're gonna have to pry these $7 out of my cold dead hands, Eli or Elon.
Eli Mosk.
Eli Mosk. It's going off the rails. All right. Thank you so much, Derek, for coming on, talking about theater camp.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. And we will see you later. Dex, what are we doing in the meantime?
# support Florence Pugh.
As always, we're out.